Well, we're back here working on this Titacamera, and I've decided to pull this motor. You guys ready to see why? Okay. You ready? It's gonna happen quick. Water! Water! Look at all that water! Still water, no oil yet. Still water. When's the oil gonna start? That's a lot of water inside this block. I think I'm gonna run out of bucket. Did somebody fill this thing up with a damn garden hose before they sold it to me? Devin. I'm just joking. Man, we're coming in on a lot of water now. Holy. I think this bucket's like 4.5 liters. A gallon and a third. Oh my goodness. I thought the oil would have started by now. I gotta go empty this bucket. We are one full bucket of water out of this thing. Let's see how many buckets of water we can get. We're gonna start on bucket number 2 now. Oh yeah, still more water. I think it's a good choice how we decided to swap this motor. This here is about 4, actually this is probably going on 5 liters of oil. Oh! Oh, I think I see some oil. There's the oil. So we got about 5 liters of water out of this. So usually I would put the oil into my oil catch can so I can burn it in my wood stove this winter. But because this has so much water into it, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to take this and put it in the car that's going to scrap. This is, even now she's pretty chunky. She's still covered in water. I'm glad I did not decide to run this motor. Look at that oil. Doesn't look like regular oil to me. Still mixed with water all the way down. See how it's like bubbling and spewing? Oh well. So I've been working at this thing now for a couple hours. Oh, look, there's water everywhere in this thing. After draining probably 5 liters of water out of the motor, we're at the point now where we can start tearing it apart a little bit farther. This thing has been stored for almost 1.5 years, if not 2 years, with no hood on it. So I imagine I'm going to find water pretty much everywhere when it comes to this car. So far I'm getting soaked with disgusting, stinky water. Could be worse. Could have went in my mouth. I just did with my hand. Just a little bit of snags, nothing too important. gear core, that's what told you. I guess there was a ground cable there too. There was a ground cable, not no more. Well, she's down. Let's get her off to the side now. Now we can clean up this engine bay. We can get the air conditioning out, get the factory shifter out, fix the back brake lines, which means get rid of them, all that fun kind of stuff. For being so filled with water, there's really not that much rust on this car. I thought there'd be a lot more than what I'm seeing, but I'm pretty happy. Well, let's get to cleaning up this engine bay.
6.5 hours later. Two hours later. Three hours later.
Can you move it along? I'm all out of time cards.
We've got a lot done. Oh, but it's time to get the motor back in. If you guys remember, the reason why we pulled this motor is because the other one was garbage. The transmission was garbage. The motor had about 8 liters of water in it. Oh, almost together. Can't get it right the first time every time, right? There. There we go. So with that now, we can start putting all these lovely pieces back on. Oh. I think all my impacts are in my truck. So maybe I should go get some of those. But until that time, we're just gonna hand it. Where did that come from? The subframe back in, we can put all the motor mounts, transmission mounts, all that fun stuff in. All these little 14mm bolts that hold on the subframe connector pieces. got your rear motor mounts right here, to have them all in. Yep. Transmission motor mount. Yeah, that's in there now. But honestly, now we're just going to go through and we're going to make sure I put all these in, because you guys are going to laugh, but the last time I did a motor mount, sorry, a motor swap, which was Newcomb, I just tore it apart there about a week ago. And I noticed I never put the transmission mount bolts back in. Whoopsie. I guess I forgot those ones. But she held together pretty good with no transmission mounts. Just going through a couple bolts to make sure everything's in. So you got these 3, these 2, 1, 2, 2. We're good. All those are back in. So, as you guys don't know, this is going to go to Thrill Show. And this is going to go to Thrill Show's championship class. So it's got to be built really good. Now, the problem with this, Thrill Show's rules are on the internet. And Thrill Show rules change a lot. Now, I don't mean like change. What I mean is, I go to one event and I'm allowed to do one thing. I go to a different event, I'm allowed to do a different thing. So it's getting pretty confusing. I have tech officials at one Thrill Show event telling me I can take threaded rod down to sub. I have Thrill Show officials at another event telling me I can't take threaded rod down to sub. I have Thrill Show guys telling me that I can do one thing, telling me I can't do another. And then I get to a different show and the one guy says, well, why didn't you do this? I said, well, the last event you guys told me I couldn't do that. Oh no, you can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this car to the maximum. Right to. So if they told me I could do it at one show and then another show that told me they couldn't, I'm going to do it to the show they told me I could do it. And then I'm going to take what I've learned from all my Thrill Show events and put it into this car this year. And then when I go there, if they tell me to cut 2 out of 4, then I'm still feeling pretty good about myself. But what that means is I got to spend a lot of time on this car. There's got to be, I'm just going to lose that knife through that wiring harness. What happens is this car is probably going to end up being a rush job, and I'm probably not going to get everything done that I wanted to get done. But, you know what, I'm off to a good start. I've got a good motor into it. I've got, I'm going to say 2 weeks to fully build this car. And then, once this car's done, I got to build another car, but it's not nearly as much as this. And I have another 2 weeks to build that. And it needs a motor swap too. But anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves talking about that stuff. What I'd really like to do is I'd really like to get this thing in here and running. But there's so much that has to be done to this car still. So much. It doesn't even have a dash bar in it. Doesn't even have a dash bar. Alright, well, the more I talk about it, the more I'm just depressing myself. So let's get going and build this thing.